Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm T. This is Bed Crime Stories, and this is part 2 of the Disappearance of Aidan Clune. We talked about when and how 19-year-old Aidan Clune of Sonoma, California went missing on April 28, 2022 in a remote part of southern Elko County in Utah, in part 1 of the Disappearance of Aidan Clune. Today I want to talk a little bit about the area that he vanished into. Aidan's disappearance can be characterized as one of someone suffering a mental health crisis and making a choice in that state of mind to block his mother, Amy Clune, from his cell phone and to take off on foot into a mountainous area near Curry, Nevada. Amy has hypothesized that Aidan may have seen the Nevada State Patrol troopers who arrived around 8:50 a.m. to mile marker 23 on U.S. Highway 93 to check out Aidan's truck, which was abandoned on the shoulder of the highway with its doors wide open. Amy posits that perhaps Aidan thought the troopers were there to arrest him for an incident in Utah where he kicked his grandpa Mike out of his truck on the side of a highway. We can't really say what was going through Aidan's mind at that point. He did take his beloved guitar with him, but he stashed it in some bushes. The guitar was found 60 yards south of his truck along the shoulder of the highway, but on the other side of a fence. Contrary to what some YouTubers have said, Aidan did not take off running into the mountains with his guitar. Aidan ends up heading up Paloma Ridge, which he hikes over. He then arrives in a flat area that takes him to the Cherry Creek Range, a lower mountain range that is followed by a long, narrow valley. At that point, Aidan was at 6,500 to 7,000 feet. Note that the high on April 28th was 67 degrees Fahrenheit. But of course, temperatures in the mountains tend to be cooler as one ascends them. Aidan then heads to a third set of mountains, and he hikes up to 8,500 feet. His cell phone last pinged at 8:07 p.m. on April 28th at a location southwest of where his truck was abandoned. The next day, when the Elko County Police finally figured out that the abandoned truck belonged to Aidan Clune, the young man whose mother reported him missing and in desperate need of mental health care the previous day, it's then that they follow his tracks into the mountains. The tracks apparently fade after 10 miles, but somehow they're able to follow his scent, I believe, 21 miles into the range and up to 8,500 feet. As they followed the tracks, they noticed that Aidan was performing evasive maneuvers, trying to elude whatever terrifying entity he believed was after him. Note that despite Aidan taking off his shoes and running during various stretches, it's believed that he eventually put his shoes back on. Despite an extensive, weeks-long search, Aidan has yet to be found. Note that his shoes have not been found either. Apparently, some YouTubers have shared that misinformation, so neither Aidan nor his shoes have been found. Amy Clune, his mother, still holds hope that Aidan may be alive out there somewhere, that perhaps he made it over the mountains and back down to civilization. She shared a story about another missing person who was found well after he disappeared in a hospital. Apparently, there are some hospitals and medical facilities that refuse to release information about patients, even to their relatives, claiming that the privacy rule issued under the Federal Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, which is known as HIPAA, requires such action. However, HIPAA does not prevent hospitals from communicating information about patients to their loved ones, and thus those medical facilities' claims are misguided, apparently. Clune clings to the hope that Aidan might be in a facility somewhere and that they simply are refusing to share information with his family members, or perhaps they don't know who he is.